Today in our 2017 BMW X5, you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to show you how to install the CURT Class 3 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number 13077. That's what our hitch looks like when it's installed. As you can see, the cross tube is completely hidden behind the bumper fascia. The only thing we see is the receiver tube, and it's nice and tucked in behind the outermost edge of the bumper fascia. We're not going to worry about hitting our legs or our shins on it when we're loading and unloading the vehicle. You can see it's going to have a reinforced collar, give you a little extra stability on the receiver tube. It's going to be a Class 3 hitch. It's going to be 2" by 2". Hitch pin hole is going to be 5/8 inch in diameter. You can see that the safety chain loops is a rolled steel style. It's welded on the bottom of the receiver tube. You can see the hole is nice and large. It's going to accept many different size safety chain hooks. You're going to have a 600-pound max ton weight, which is a downward pressure on the inside of the receiver tube. You're going to have a 6,000-pound max trailer weight, which is the trailer plus the load included. Now, you can use weight distribution with this hitch. Your weights are going to stay the same. I do recommend checking the owner's manual to make sure the vehicle can withstand that amount of weight. You're going to want to pick the lowest number between the vehicle and the hitch. As far as the installation goes, it is a pretty straightforward installation. Keep in mind you will have to remove the bumper fascia. Now let me give you a few measurements to help you when deciding on any hitch mount accessories you may need, such as a bike rack, ball mount, or cargo carrier. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the outermost part of the bumper will be about 4 inches. From the ground to the top innermost part of the receiver tube will be about 14.5 inches. Now let's show you how to get this installed. First thing we need to do is we're going to have 2 plastic rivets in our wheel well that we need to remove. We're going to do this on both sides. This is going to be behind the tire, and it's going to be connecting this panel to our rear fascia. Take a drill bit, we're going to drill out the center. Then we're going to slowly just kind of pull out on this panel here, or this trim piece. So if for some reason this isn't pulling off, you pull back your wheel well liner. This is the bottom tab. You reach in right behind and you push down like this. It'll release that. You're going to have another one up a little bit higher. Take an 8mm socket. You're going to remove this bolt. We're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. Take your 8mm socket. You're going to remove 3 bolts on each side of the vehicle underneath the fascia. Now we're going to remove the reflectors. What we're going to do is we're going to reach up right above our tailpipe here. There's going to be a clip. We're going to push that clip in and we'll push this corner out. You want to push in that side. Once you get those loose, just pull it out and set it aside. So what I like to do before I remove my fascia is right here on this edge, just put a piece of tape. I use electrical tape just to keep this from scratching that edge right there. Even though this is plastic, as the bumper moves around and bumps up against this, it could take a chance of chipping it there. I like to take a little extra precautionary action and cover it up, just like that. Go ahead and do that on both sides. Now we need to remove our tail lights. In order to do that, here on our driver's side, we're going to pull out this panel. We're going to pull back our insulation. Actually, we don't even need to do that. You see this plug right here? Go ahead and unplug that. Let's go into our tail light. Take an 8mm socket. You're going to remove the 2 nuts that are holding the tail light in place. So now it's a little bit hard just to pull it out. If you reach in and grab the 2 bolts and then the back of that wiring harness and just kind of push on it a little bit, it'll pop out. Just like that. We'll set that aside. You're going to repeat the process on the other side of the car. Take your 8mm socket. You're going to remove this bolt on each side of the vehicle, right on the lower corner or inside corner of your bumper fascia underneath your taillight. Because our bumper fascia has some few plastic clips that run along this center section, our tailgate, take a strap and we're going to hang it just like that. That'll give us enough room that we can reach in there and do what we need to do to get those undone. Take your 8mm socket. You're going to have a bolt here that was under your reflector. You're going to have one on both sides. The next set of hands, we're going to start removing our fascia. We're going to start down here in the lower corner and work our way in toward the center. Keep in mind, if you have sensors, make sure you don't pull your fascia off. You need to unplug those first. So we'll start Here in this corner, we're just gonna kind of pull it out like that. You're gonna have some clips here at the top. If it doesn't come out, if you take a little screwdriver and stick it down in there, it'll push those down enough to release it. Here's going to be your sensor plug. You're just going to push down on both ends, just like that. Take an 18mm socket. We're going to remove the 4 nuts holding our bumper beam in place. These nuts will not be reinstalled. I'm going to leave one partially on just so that my bumper beam doesn't fall off when I'm doing the other side. Before we remove our bumper beam, we're going to have a wire that runs across. It's a sensor wire. We're going to unplug it, go ahead and pull it out of the clips. We're actually just going to lay it across here. We need to disconnect it here also. You can just take a trim panel tool, a flathead screwdriver, anything to get back in there, and pop that out. Just like that. Once you've removed that wire, or set the wire aside, go ahead and take off the last nut holding the bumper beam in place, and you can pull off your bumper. And we'll set that aside. Now we'll take our hitch, put it into place. Just be mindful of the edge of the tailgate here, that you don't hit it. Now we're going to put on new hardware, conical tooth washer. You're going to make sure that the teeth of the washer are facing toward the hitch, and then the nut. Now we'll take a 19mm socket and tighten them all into place. Now we want to torque all of our hardware to the specifications and the instructions. Now we need to reattach our plug. We're just going to go up over the top like this, around the front of our hitch. Go ahead and reinstall it back on the clips. Get it plugged in. Since we can't reconnect this, if you pull the wire, tighten that up so it doesn't fall back down on the exhaust, and then put it in your clips, it'll hold it. It'll hold it over in place like that. Now we can reinstall our fascia in reverse order from the way we took it off. Now what Curt has done, instead of putting new plastic rivets in it and requiring somebody to get a rivet gun if they don't have one, they're going to give you little rivets like this that have a Phillips head screw in them. These are plastic, so all you will need to do is once we get it in place, you're just going to push the center in. All we're going to do is push the center in, just like that. Repeat that on the other side, and you're ready to go. That'll do it for a look at an installation on the CURT Class 3 Trailer Hitch Receiver, part number 13077 on our 2017 BMW X5.